thought I'd do a quick introduction on this Lock&Co hat because what I hadn't realised until I started researching Lock&Co is, in fact, the company back in what I think was around the 60s actually didn't renew their lease on their property in London, and so Lock&Co, yes, the great Lock&Co in St James, took over the brand, and I guess they bought the brand and the customers and integrated it with their own brand. So Lock&Co hats must have been considered of the quality that Lock&Co would be comfortable with, which clearly is justified in the style, the felt that's being used in this particular hat and some of the others that I've seen. So it's a brand that is very underestimated in the UK because it's not a particularly well-known brand. But if you can find a little gem like this, then it's a nice find. Anyway, have a look at the video, see what you think of the restoration, and yeah, keep watching the channel. Thanks. So here we are today with another delivery of some second-hand hats, and this one is a very nice black hat that, frankly, I don't think it's been worn that much at all. It's by a company called Lock&Co, which was a London-based hatter in Bond Street, which is one of the main sort of fashion streets in London. Now, this hat, it says inside here that it was hat makers to the late King George VI. Now, that would mean that it's after the 1950s. So this is probably a 1960s hat. And the reason I think that is that there is actually a label inside. So first of all, let me show you that lovely crest in there, but underneath the leather here is a label, and it's quite difficult for me to show you because it's quite delicate, and actually it's sewn in, but it's behind. You just see the silhouette of it, it's just behind there, and it says 66 on there, so I reckon it was probably about a 1966 hat. Anyway, what's quite interesting is, can you see the little bow here and the little what's happened is they cut holes into the leather hatband, and they actually thread the, I guess it's some form of cord through there. Can you see? If you can see the cord going through, and in theory, you could tighten that cord to be a slightly better fit on your head. It doesn't actually happen in practice, but that's one of the things that was done in those days. And of course, you probably saw there that the liner is actually stitched into the hat. Now, this is a centre crease with a couple of indentations at the front here, but you can have it with or without the indentations. But it's a very, very nice edging. So they've stitched it on side, flipped it over, and then stitched it underneath, and it does make a very, very nice edging. I must admit that's probably my favourite edging, and I do that on some of my hats that I make. Bit of a smaller gros grain, probably about 18. Let's have a look, shall we? That gros grain there is 25 millimeters, so relatively small by today's standards for the width of the gros grain. Now, this was just sold as a general older hat, but actually fitting it's a very lightweight, and I think it's a Beaver felt because it's very, very fine and very, very soft. And the hat I've got on today is a Beaver felt hat. It's a very, very similar hat to that. So what I'm going to do is put it through the cleaning process. I mean, look, it's in very nice condition anyway, but I'm going to take off some of the dust and give it a steam, and let's see what shape it comes back to. But it's actually called a dinner hat. Well, how many of us have ever considered buying a hat for dinner? Well, you know, I guess it refers to the fact that a gentleman who would have worn this would have gone out to dinner with his wife or partner, wearing a suitable suit and overcoat, and of course this hat. Anyway, let's give it a clean. So I've chosen a suitable block size. This is a 7, so I'm going to pop it over the block here, and as you can see, it pops out the indentations and gives me something to press against. I'm then going to take off a suitable amount of sticky tape. Now it's blooming cold here today, which is why I've got a bit of a scarf on. But Here we go. Right, let's... I'm going to get caught up in this sticky state today, aren't I? Right, okay, so as you've seen me do it before, and I'll go on about it again, it's go over the felt with the sticky tape a few times, and you'll take off an awful lot of excess felt and dust off of the hat. I mean, already I'm seeing the colour coming back. Can you see all of that? My goodness, look at that. Amazing. It's relatively cheap, this stuff. And really, it's the sort of thing that anybody can do. And just, it's quite therapeutic to think that you can get a really nice result with you know, a small amount of effort in putting the time in to use this this tape to relieve the dirt and dust from the hat. So that's got quite a lot off there. So let's go on to do the underside of the hat now. So here we go. There we go. So we're just going to go round the brim here. Some of you have probably seen that I've been playing with a 3D printer recently, and yeah, really enjoying getting into that and making a few hat blocks and pieces of equipment for hatting. I do prefer the wooden or metal hat blocks and tools, but 3D printing certainly has a place in the hat making world. There we are. Can you see that's a lot cleaner now in terms of the dust coming off? And can you see it's an open, quite lovely open crown shape. That's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? So let's see if we can put some elbow grease into brushing it. So here we've got the two-stage brush. It's stiff on this side and not so stiff on that side, but this is the brush I use for restoration. And I'm gonna go anti-clockwise, and that will take the, in fact I'm going to agitate it both ways, because it might well get the dirt coming out of the pile, because if this is you know, 60 odd years old, which I guess it is, then we need to just open up the felt a little bit. I'm going to introduce some steam at this stage. Yep, we're all good. So this will open up the pores on the actual felt, and also get rid of any sort of, I don't know, impurities that might be in there. Steam's a great one for bringing the felt back to a really good finish, and obviously eventually putting the shape back into the hat. I'm also brushing the grosgrain here. It's a nice classic vintage grosgrain on the hat. It's going to be very simple, I think, to steam this one back into shape. Just going to put a bit of steam inside. So that just sort of freshens it up a bit. There we go. Now, before I put any shape into this hat, I'm going to just get out my leather cleaner. So here we are. Bit of leather cleaner onto a nice clean cloth. I'm going to whiz that around the sweatband in here, and it's just to agitate off the any marks that might have actually got onto the leather. It's cleaning up quite nicely. I have to say that I really like these Scott's branded hats. Problem is I don't really do them too often in my size, so I'm a size 60, and of course back in the 50s, 60s, hat wearing men had relatively small heads compared to today, and you know, I find myself being in that minority of being able to get a decent hat of a vintage type because of that size. Right. So if you don't have a hat block, the brim block, then you can just introduce some steam out of your iron just over the brim here, and you'd be surprised how the steam just nurtures the brim back into shape. So there we are. And then if it's not exactly how you want it, just tease it. Use your finger and just go around the edge. And the other thing you can do is obviously use a flat surface and put it up against the flat surface and press it down. So it will come back into a reasonable shape. Now, I'm going to put some shape into the top now. As you saw, it had a centre crease. So we're just going to put a bit of steam in there, like that. And pop it down. And really, it just will pop back in because it had that shape before. Look at that. Isn't that coming up nicely? It's really, really nice, isn't it? Now, as I say, you can put a shape indentation into the hat. And in fact, I will do just for the sake of this demonstration, really. But it really is that simple to pop a little bit in, pop a bit of steam on. Here we are, some nice indentations there now, and then the hat will just come down on the brim here. It will just flop down. Oh, there's a bit of something there. So now, there we are. We've got a very nice, really, really nice Lock&Co. I guess it's a trilby because of the size of the brim, but I just so wish this was my size because it's just lovely. Do you know when you get something that's really tactile, really smooth and soft? Well, that's what this hat's like, and it's just, oh my goodness, it's like you know, if putting your fingers into butter, it's that sort of smooth. And somebody, if they've got a small head, is going to get a very nice hat for relatively small amount of money, considering what that hat would cost new now. So there we are, a Lock&Co hat, trilby, ready to be worn.